What's happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from BucsGameday.com. We're here live on a wonderful victory Sunday evening. The Buccaneers take down the New Orleans Saints on the road. Defensive performance all throughout this one today. We'll talk about the offense and its sloppiness there, but the Bucs get a win. They're 2-0 in the division, and it's always good to go into New Orleans and leave with a win there. 23-3 for the Bucs as they head into their bye week, which is much needed. And we'll talk further on that here in just a little bit. But with me as our lead editor, River Wells. River, we were just talking before we went live. This was a tough watch. Both offenses did not have their best day, that's for damn sure. But I'll tell you what, there was a
Yeah.
lot of defensive playmakers out there on the field for the Buccaneers this afternoon.
Yeah, there definitely was. The defense was the story of the day, right? I mean, the defense went in there, got four turnovers. It felt like Antoine Winfield Jr. had three touchdowns that went for 0 points.
Yeah.
Um, but he had a really good game as well, including that interception against Tyler Shuck. Tough break for Tyler Shuck, by the way. His first NFL interception being not at all his fault whatsoever.
No.
So
Uh,
that's pretty tough. But yeah, and the reason why it felt like that is because the Bucs dominated on defense, got their turnovers, probably their most complete game they played this year, and then the Bucs offense, man, just they need this bye week. They need players back. It was pretty tough sledding for them. You look at some of the immediate stats here: 3 for 13 on third down. Ended up with 212 total net yards. You had 124 net passing yards, 88 net rushing yards. Weren't able to move the ball well, and then in the goal line situations, man, really brutal play calling, really tough. They had 8 plays from the Saints 1 yard line, and they finally got in on the last one. So that's pretty tough. That's pretty tough. Scrappy game, got out, won by quite a few points, which is good. But now I think we're just looking towards the bye week, trying to get healthy, get guys like Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin back in the fold. Hopefully, at some point, Luke Gedeke. We thought we knew when Luke Gedeke was going to come back, and now I guess we don't. But hopefully, at some
mhm.
point, get Luke Gedeke back, get recharged. Good to get this win and move to 6-2.
I'll tell you what, if we're going to shout out a player right away, got to give a shout out to Anthony Nelson, who had to
Anthony
step up
Nelson. This
here.
is the Anthony Nelson
Dude,
legacy game.
man,
It
I've been
is.
such a fan of covering Anthony Nelson because he does step up when you do need him in case there is, guys dealing
Yeah.
with injuries and such. And he sure did in this game right off the bat. Pick six, makes that play. Stiff arm, Spencer Rattler says, "Get
Mhm.
off me." Really great play there, and two, he recorded 2 sacks on the day, had a forced fumble as well. He was just all over the place, bringing pressure to. It won't show up on the stat line until you check out PFF River for us later in the week, but he was bringing pressure all throughout that Saints offensive line. So shout out to him having a really good game and replacement of Hassan Reddick, who we still don't know really the extent of what that
No.
injury that he's going through, which is going to be a big question mark for us going into this bye week.
Yeah, I feel like if Todd Bowles didn't want to tell us about any injuries, he wouldn't. He didn't have to. We don't know about Hassan Reddick. We still don't really know what happened with Luke Gedeke. We know his foot hurt. We don't know exactly what it was. So
Yeah.
we've still been waiting on that. But Anthony Nelson stepping in a big way with Hassan Reddick out. I mean, you mentioned it. Sack. He had a forced fumble. He had a pick six, and boy, did he just slam Spencer Rattler to the ground on that pick six. Just bodied him. Woo! That's tough. I mean, he's 6'7", so that's tough. And before anyone makes the joke, I'm not going to touch it. There's definitely a lot of really good play from that defense. We saw Jacob Parrish flying around a little bit. Don't know.
Mhm.
Nelson is a beast. He's been great. Always remember where you were for the Anthony Nelson game when you watch him against the Saints.
Yeah.
Jacob Parrish went out with a bit of an oblique injury. He was questionable to return in the fourth quarter. We didn't see him come back in, but because he was questionable to return in the fourth and the Bucs were already up big, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I guess with this team, you never know.
hmm
So something to
Yeah,
keep
you
an eye on
don't.
there.
Mm-mm.
Tyke Smith led the league in tackles coming into this game, played a really good game as well. He's just very scrappy. He's good at keeping the ball in front of him. And he had a great game as well. Guys like Zion McCollum, Benjamin Morrison strapping up some of those wide receivers, making it so that the Saints couldn't move the ball down the field too much. Even though it kind of looked like they had like a slant game going at first that was really working against the Bucs defense, keeping it underneath. And then I think I think that fumble, really put an end to that. So great game by the Bucs defense. Anthony Nelson coming up big in lieu of Hassan Reddick, and all focus on the bye week is going to be getting healthy and making sure this offense starts clicking again because something's got to give there.
That sure does. Yeah, Antoine Winfield too, absolutely having a great game. You had flashbacks of
Fantastic,
what
yeah,
prime
his three
Antoine
TD
Winfield
game,
Jr.
yeah.
I mean, this man was just practically playing offense for the Buccaneers today, but he was flying around, put himself in the positions, and he's one of the best in the league at getting those takeaways and causing
Yeah,
issues for offenses. And he was everywhere, and it's great to see him back fully healthy, which he had told us going into the season that's where he was, and kind of got some rust off early on in the season, and he's just been a great safety blanket for the Bucs and that deep backfield and the combination with Tyke Smith, like you were just saying there, came into the game leading the league and tackling. But yeah, I mean the defense played well. Also, too, shout out Jamel Dean, man. Jamel Dean making plays as well, making that forced fumble
pay
there.
cut Dean's going crazy. Don't make a
Dude,
scene, man.
don't make a scene.
Force that
No.
fumble. You don't see this
He's having
anymore.
an excellent season, man. I'm super happy for him because he gets a hard time mainly because he couldn't stay healthy throughout the entirety of the season. That was the same thing for Carlton Davis, and that's one of the main reasons why they moved on from Davis because he couldn't stay healthy for a whole season. That been the situation, has been the situation for Jamel Dean, but him, I don't know what it is with someone getting some of these other younger rookies, and we saw that in training camp that he was getting
Yeah.
some of that playing time taken away in the first team with guys like Benjamin Morrison, or if it has to be Jacob Parrish. And so I think getting a little bit of something behind him there to give him a reason to step it up. And he even told us in training camp that he's got to stay healthy. He understands that that's been his biggest issue. And sure enough, he's been healthy. He's always been a solid cornerback for you, but he's also
Yeah.
making some big time plays and turnovers galore. Turnovers everywhere from him right now.
Yeah, he's
Um,
playing really good football. It's exactly what the Buccaneers want. And now that he's doing so, and he can continue to rotate him and Benjamin Morrison, and Benjamin Morrison might rotate him McCollum on the other side once they feel like he's gotten some good reps on Jamel Dean's side there. Yeah, we'll
mhm.
talk about this, Josh, that touchdown. But man,
Yeah.
it's it was a good defensive performance. That's what it was, and Jamel Dean was part of that. He's been part of it for the last few weeks. He's been playing really good football, and it's exactly what the Bucs want him to do, and couldn't be happier with that. Yeah, I'm curious. We're gonna get a pool report from that referee call without the whistle, and I would love to hear what they say because obviously it's hard for us to hear a whistle watching at home, but when you look at the footage there, Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, he got the fumble, took it back, and should have had a touchdown. But then they said there's a whistle call that made him down, and we didn't hear that. And you see, the referees were running with him, so they didn't hear it. The side judges, and the players
No.
continued to pursue him, so they didn't hear it either. So that's interesting. That's tough. We're gonna get some answers on that in a little bit.
Yeah, I would highly doubt that. I know the Superdome's loud, but it's not gonna be loud while you're on offense if you're the home team. And for the Saints, I doubt it was that loud. I mean, we didn't hear. They replayed it with full audio, game audio for us to
Yeah.
hear watching. And then also too, I think I saw Stroud and a few others on the beat there on site say they didn't hear a whistle as well. I know they're
Nope.
500 feet up in the air, so it is far away, but still,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
nonetheless,
tough.
you're
It's
you're
tough.
it's a whistle. It's on offense for the Saints. It's not going to be loud unless we saw a big boatload of Bucs fans
Yeah.
there. It just wasn't the case, and yeah, they have to. We got to get an answer there on that because that stripped away a massive play there from Winfield, and none of the players. I don't think you saw any of the 22 players on the field notice or hear a whistle happening, and so no one stalled or anything on the play. It was just full go and make a play. So yeah, we got to have an answer on that. It's just been kind of a pretty embarrassing officiating crew all throughout the year. No matter not even just the Bucs, but other teams across the league, they've been going through some pretty rough and brutal times since the
Yeah.
very beginning in week one of the NFL. But going over real quick and shout out to we got to give a good. If we're going to give a shout out to AWJ and then also to Anthony Nelson, how about Chase McLaughlin? 3 field goals, 50 plus yards today, man. He's back. He's back in his groove, and he's one of the best in the league at 50 plus.
Money McClellan cashing in. Yeah, he absolutely did. And it's good that he did because the Bucs offense was not getting in the end zone as much as they should have. So the fact that he was able to
No.
hit from 50 plus when this offense kept stalling at or near midfield. huge to go. I mean, that's 9 points in the bag, right? So being able to
Hmm.
get that there is a big swing for you, and it really helped the Bucs kind of seal this win with how good his leg was. They should have sealed it earlier by scoring because the offense really was not playing good football, and the play calling was very predictable. I thought today more so than any other game this season, but tough. They just got to regroup over the bye week, figure some stuff out. Maybe with some more weapons, they could open the playbook a little bit. But today, I thought it was worse than any other game that they've had this year. You had that eight play sequence across two different drives at the 1 yard line. We saw a fade route to Sterling Shepard, which is crazy. Um, Not the guy
Yeah.
that you want to do that to. Bucs fans are kind of spoiled because the fade route kind of sucks, to be honest with you, in the end zone. But Mike Evans can just get up there and grab it at his big frame, and Sterling Shepard definitely can't do that. Um, so that was tough, and those four straight runs on very similar dive concepts. It looked like on that first
Mhm.
drive to go 4 and out there, really tough too. So just got to be a little bit more creative, I think, going forward. But Josh Gazard might be able to do that when he has guys like Bucky Irving back, when he has guys like Chris Godwin back in the lineup, right? These are two rookies that are kind of commanding the offense right now, wide receiver wise, with Tez Johnson and Emeka Egbuka. So to rely on them to do that's a tough undertaking. They're good players, but they're still rookies. So I think getting some more weapons might help Josh Gazard really open up that playbook, and we could see some more creative plays from him, and that might be kind of one of the reasons why they've been playing a little bit more conservatively over the past few weeks.
I'm gonna say, I mean, Tez over here leading the receiving room with 43
Yep.
yards on the game. Kate Otten at 40, at Buka at 35. Almost had a big time shot there from Baker. If he got that ball out a little bit earlier, whenever Mecca had reached the end zone, man,
Yep.
that would have been
Just a
right on the money for a big
little
one.
bit earlier.
I
Yeah.
know, and Emeka's
That's it.
probably going to tell the beat there in the locker room saying I should have caught that because it did go to his hands, and usually he's made some really good grabs this season. But then Baker's also going to say I got to give him a better ball. But that was a good shot there from the Bucks and could have had some
Yep.
more on air. But Tez Johnson has been a kind of a breakout guy for you in the wide receiver room. I just think the issue right now, and you're alluding to it, River, is Mike Evans, big frame, big time, big tall wide receiver. The Bucks don't really have that. They have three smaller wide receivers that they have out there with Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, the smallest player in the league, and then
Yeah.
you got Emeka Egbuka as well, who isn't the biggest size. He's your biggest framed guy outside of those three. The guy they need guys. They need a Chris Godwin out there. Not saying that he's a Mike Evans size, but they need someone that can be more, I would say, of a one-on-one threat for you if you are in the end zone. Because yeah, it was very predictable. I think they were trying to, it's a rivalry game. They wanted to try to stuff it in
Yeah.
there, and it didn't matter if it was a fourth down or not. They're going to run the same play, but. Baker Mayfield has been incredible this season on the rollouts. He's been able to utilize his legs a lot. And I thought too in this
Yep.
game, and even last week too, River, I don't know if it's just me, but I noticed him kind of thinking some things. He did that today on a third down, I believe, where he could have easily probably ran it for a first down, but he tries to take a shot there to, I want to say it was Pate or someone in the receiving room, and it goes nowhere and it goes incomplete. But he could have easily ran that if he wanted to. So. I think there's some things for Bake to clean up a little bit more. The score is
Yeah.
23-3, but that's mainly because of that defensive performance today. That offense still wasn't the prettiest. Yet Sean Tucker with 44 yards and Rashad White with
Yeah.
35 and Josh Williams with 11 yards. But yeah, wasn't the prettiest. I think, of course, like you said, Bucky coming back helps you in both the rushing and in the receiving game. It opens up a lot more things. And I'm really curious to see how well Chris Godwin can get back into a groove for the Bucks.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern right now, River, because I don't, you know, he's dealing with that injury. We know what he went through last year, but it's one that it could be a big concern if he can't get to back to 100%, and you're going to be
Yeah.
relying on Emeka and Tez and Sterling Shepard moving forward. That's the thing. They really need Chris Godwin to come back 105%.
That would be nice, and it would also mean that you have another veteran presence in there before Mike Evans returns, which he's kind of expected to do at the end of this season, right before the playoffs, those last 2 weeks, maybe last week. That would be nice to
Yeah.
have Chris Godwin in there so that he can help bring that veteran presence and draw more attention away from guys like Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson. So definitely need that. And
Hmm.
you've got Sean Tucker taking some more carries, which is good. Could see him do that a little bit more going forward. But if Bucky Irving comes back after the bye, then that's a little bit tough. So it'll be interesting to see what
Hmm.
their offensive philosophy is going forward.
Well, speaking of getting back healthy, the Bucs go through a bye week this upcoming week, and
They do.
then this tough schedule begins. We were talking about in the production meeting, River, before we went live, but then you go on, you have this game at home against the Patriots, who have been hot. They've got a quarterback that
Yep.
everybody's loving right now, and then you go and face Josh Allen as well on the road in Buffalo, and then at the Rams in LA. This three-game stretch is going to be the roughest this season for the Bucs. What's your current outlook at this? Because the Bills just put a dominating win on the Panthers today. The Patriots got away with another win as well, and the Rams never an easy play, not an easy coaching staff to go against with Sean McVay.
Oh, never. Um, Tough, tough, tough stretch, and I mean, there's a world where the Bucks are 6-2 right now, and then they end up 6-5 before you know it. But uh, beating the Patriots at home, taking care of home turf would be pretty big, and then you got a little bit more breathing room. But if you want to be a contender, these are three teams that you're going to want to play pretty hard. And I mean, you've seen the Bills lose to the Falcons, who are not a great football team. I don't think so. So they are exploitable. And the Rams have lost to the 49ers, the Bucks beat. So definitely a few things to look at there. And it's going to be a hard 3 game stretch. But after that, it's not too bad. So you got all your NFC South games, and the NFC South is a weak division, right? So it shouldn't look too awful. You got the Dolphins, who are not playing great. No, they just defeated the Falcons today, but they're not playing great football.
Hmm.
You got
That was a
a
weird
an
game.
easier schedule. It was. You got an easier schedule than
That
the
was a
Bills
wild
and
game.
Ravens.
That was a wild score, 34-10 for Miami to beat the Falcons. I don't know
Mm.
what's going on
It's
with the
not.
Falcons either,
It's
man.
not
I don't know.
Kirktober. It's not Kirktober.
No, it's
Kirktober's
not.
over.
It's
Yeah.
certainly not Kirktober there for the Falcons.
No,
But yeah, like you said,
it's not.
that's an easier stretch there at the end. You just got to get through these three. And to be honest, this is the best timing if you're gonna have a bye week. I mean, we all looked at it whenever the schedule came out. This was the prime time to have it, man, more than ever with how much of bad luck the Bucks have had on the injury side,
Yeah.
and even guys that have been dealing with like injuries on the injury report. Still, guys that have been healthy but still playing. Those guys are dinged up. We're in the middle part of this season. Guys are hurting. They're bruised up and everything. It's going to help excel this team in a lot of different ways. Certainly, if you could get guys back like Luke Gedeke, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, and that should help you a ton. But we'll keep an
Big
eye on
time.
Jacob Parrish. He was the only one that left with an injury today at the end of the game, oblique injury. He looked like he got up and he's fine. And we'll have some updates from Todd Bowles early in the week for you guys to keep you updated at Bucks Game Day. I believe that's going to do it for us this evening. We appreciate a ton of y'all coming in here to tune in to our instant reaction of the Bucks going 2-0 in the NFC South Division, now 6-2 on the season. If you're still here with us on YouTube, smash that like button. If you're new as well, hit that subscribe button. We go live at least one
Do
time a
it.
week, along with two, an instant reaction from every game moving forward throughout the rest of this 2025 season. Bucks are 6-2. Fire the cannons. We will talk to you guys next week on Hear the Cannons. Peace.